My skin is my sin.
GC, you know. Hey, Mike West, they scared of our power. yeah. Look. Woo. I know they scared of my power. I know they scared of our power. They know that we got the juice. Like, ooh, them niggas is a problem. Look at me, huh? Look at me, huh? You ready to kill me? You think that's the only way you put an end to me, huh? Nah, silly. GTA, he got the guys with him. GTA, he got the squad with him. And the message gon' live when our bodies spin. It's like, oh man, y'all got a problem on y'all hands. What is the revolution? We at war, so my brothers ready, we all in. They like, never let them niggas know that we tryna keep them in the hole, keep them low. Never tell them they was kings and the queens and the guys and the thrones. That's a no, cause that's gonna make them feel strong. And we ain't ready for the power that them niggas got together. Like, nah, really nah. I would say you never saw it coming, but I know you snakes have seen it coming. And it's something like, who that waking niggas up? Y'all know Farrakhan up for some, gotta love them, yeah, that's the chief. We the soldiers in the streets, so get acquainted with the team. You all in your feelings, you demons, I know it, cause these are movements you don't like to see. I know that y'all scared of my power, and you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we want that, yeah, that's wrong, that's ours. Oh, the power that we sitting on, our power we've been sleeping on. You knew we had it all along. Mike West. Man, I could be knocking with the choppers. A mega Evers know the king. Give me if I die today, call the doctor. Martin Luther, this the revolution. This apocalypse was a doctrine. You probably never hear my words. Most likely conspired just to pop me. The power I know that it's God like. Oh, why the good, yeah, that's God right. D to the evil, who y'all like? Really, brother, is you ready for it? Baltimore like the Canaan North. The root of ignorant is ignored. Who could justify what we ride for? The same land that we dying for. Forget the news, use the eyes more. You the taxidermist, we the animals. We seen it coming, I ain't panic though. Black with time to your cantaloupe. Are you the lion or are you the antelope? I know it's there, I can smell it. What the cops said, now you yelling. Ain't no guns or drugs in the car, brothers trying to make it home by 11. I ain't even lying to you. You a rap star with the fine to you. Take your chains with the shine to you. If I lock you up with the mind to you. Everything serving is black skin. Let me ask what's my mind to you. Cause I ain't hurting nobody. Behind the badge y'all hiding. I know. And I know that y'all scared of my power. And you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we want that, yeah, that's wrong, that's ours. Oh, the power that we're sitting on, our power we've been sleeping on. You knew we had it all along, but now we know. So now I know y'all plotting on us, know y'all trying to get us social engineering. Keep us divided and keep us distracted, cause y'all know together we seeking vengeance. Ooh, they said talk when y'all sit and listen, y'all gon' get the triple, get the crunch. Y'all used to them pussy for niggas, but they ain't no pussy in us. That's for women. We the men they try and break down, make us scared of them, knock our face down. Make our women disrespect us, cause she know if they can break us, they can break her down. But now this ain't the type of generation, this that generation that's gon' get it done. We was born for the day and age, silly, we the same children that's gon' have you running. It's something about us, I know you notice. Master can't stop us, he can't control us. They say that we rebels and problem children, cause we just won't listen to Uncle Ruckus. Miss me with that shit, we train to go like a militia. We on a mission, moving around if you not with it. This business ain't got no hard feelings, you know. I just ain't got no time for pussy cats scared of my vision and think I'm wild. Feelings look like insanity to a coward. Yeah, my teacher, he taught me about you. I'm so ready for this venture. I signed up for this, read the description. They say you know you probably die, right? I said put me on the list. I know that y'all scared of my power, and you hate that, you don't like that, like the hell with my power. And that top spot that you sitting in, yeah, we know that's ours. So we on that, yeah, we want that, yeah, that's wrong, that's ours. Oh, the power that we're sitting on, our power we've been sleeping on. You knew we had it all along, but now we know, so now it's on.
What's good, fam? This is Jobs, and you are tuned into My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to guys, we welcome everyone. We only got one rule, and that's be respectful. Hold on, let me get Alfie in on the line. What's going on, Queen?
Hey, peace, what's going on?
Shit, just chilling, you know. Trying to and we live on the YouTube because the YouTube been working for the last few weeks. So I'm just gonna kind of roll with that until I get my situation a little bit better. And so hit us up on the YouTube live stream if you would like. And you know what? Before we really get into anything, let me make sure I get the plugs out. Shout out to melanatedpeoples.net. Shout out to blackspot.com. That's BLAQSPOT.com. Definitely fam right there. Shout out to Thought Crime. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. Shout out to Afi at what is it? melanatedgreats.com. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
You want some cards? You want some flags, some RBG flags, or your favorite ancestor on a flag or on some cards, and learn a little bit about yourself and your people. Hit up melanatedgreats.com, and if you're watching the live stream, you will see that it just went by. Check out designsbymonet.com, myskinismysin.com, and I think that it is. Oh, and the family, Liberation Minded Media. Don't forget to always tune in to Black Eye Stand Radio. Matter of fact, I think he is on this Saturday, and I want to say it's from 2 to 3. That's Pacific time. Don't quote me. Damn, I should have had that in my phone too, and I don't. I do apologize. But also shout out to Do the Knowledge Radio, The Rundown with Renee, Black Power Radio, Shabaka Sankofa. The list could go on and on and on. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anybody though?
Yeah, no, I think you took pretty good job.
All right, we good. And if this is your first time tuning into the show, you know we really don't talk about shit for the first 15 minutes. And we got a couple of topics tonight. You know, on the water coolers, we kind of just, you know, let them fly and see where they land. You know, but we got a couple of topics that we came up with. So what I'll do is, I want to say I got 4 clips that I'm going to play. And that don't mean that's the only thing we're going to talk about, but as far as the things that I picked out, you know, I think those would be some nice little kind of conversations. Excuse me. There's a comedian, and she was talking about a friend of hers called her about police brutality, and I want people to check out her response. The young king, Derek Grace, and I hope I'm saying the king's name right. He had something interesting to say about whooping your kids. I got a little clip from Frederick Douglass too, just because it's Frederick Douglass, to be quite honest. And damn, I know I had. Oh, I got one from your guy too. Yeah, the one you love the most, Professor Small. He was talking about people's response to police brutality, and at least from how I gathered it, whose responsibility it is to respond to that. So those 4 things I got clips for. I got a couple of little videos, you know, of them. You know, shout out to them. Other than that, that's about it. And what else do we say? We got a couple more too that I'm looking. Oh, huh?
I was going to say viral videos as well, if time permits, some of our most memorable shows in conjunction with the topic.
Yeah, that's true. The video of the neighbor calling the cops on the 12-year-old boy for cutting grass. I don't think I've seen that one. And the lady smoking in the parking garage, I tried to look that up on YouTube, and it just had like a still photo and the audio conversation.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, well, it's a little too late for it now, though.
Yeah.
And shout out to Rome, man. If you tuned in, bro, give us a call. Let us know you all right, bro. You know? No, I'm just fucking with you. I know you all right. We talked to him earlier. And I'm sorry. I know I'm be trying to multitask, so I don't really have much to say early on. So my apologies if you just tuned in and you're like, wow, this dude is whack. I just be trying to share the show, I'm trying to look at my iPad and look at the callers, trying to look at the social media and see what I missed as far as sharing it. So I got a lot of things I'm over here trying to do. I do understand that I guess talking would be the primary thing. Sometimes I forget about that, so my bad. And if you feel like I'm tripping, please just let me know. Oh, and I have been suspended again on Facebook. So if you see a post about the show, please share that post. And let some people know. Yeah. Anyway, how's life?
I ain't got no complaints. I mean, I know people get tired of asking me that. I ain't never got nothing to say. I'm good. I'm good.
You saying that like that's a bad thing?
It's not. It's just I think people always expect somebody to say something. I'm always waiting. Like one day I'm not gonna be, and I'll let you know. But it ain't happened yet. Now it happened around Hurricane Harvey, but aside from that, I think I've been good. So we having like a little bit of a little flashback of that in Houston going on right now with all the flash floods the last couple of days. So everybody's been like in Hurricane Harvey mode.
And I know you good, but do you know anybody that has been adversely affected yet?
From the recent flash floods? No, it's not me personally. The majority of it really is if you're on the freeway and you're going under a dip, you're going down in a dip, and apparently you're not from Houston, that you don't realize that you shouldn't be driving through that. For the most part, it's just in like the rural outskirts areas where they don't have the best drainage, like outside of Houston. But the city, for the most part, we have really good drainage, but the city is so damn big and it keeps expanding. So they have to continuously, build drainage extensions. But last year was a huge wake-up call, and they got on it. So it was really smooth the last 2 days with all the rainwater. So
that's dope.
It's looking you can tell it rains, but everything is back to normal today for the most part. So
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, definitely glad to hear that. And you know what? I think we're just gonna jump into this Frederick Douglass clip right quick, just because I'm feeling it a little bit. And let me see if I can find it right quick. Shouldn't be too hard here. And I think me and you are the only ones on the YouTube chat. I don't know why that is. Like some days it be some people talking, and some days it just be a ghost town. Show us some love. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need about 22 people to get to 500. That would be kind of dope.
That would be. We should do some kind of push for the 500.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope.
Trip to Hawaii for the 500.
Yeah, about that. That I I ain't got that type of bread. I ain't got no bread. All right, but let's see what we got. Where is okay? Bet. Hold on 1 second, fam.
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
Oh, my bad. I don't know how I did that. Although I do find that very, very, very dope. And I guess that was kind of my first topic I wanted to talk about was should we celebrate 4th of July? And I know you staunchly opposed to it. And when I look at it, when I say celebrate, let me qualify that a little bit. I don't mean like dressed up in the flag or no shit like that. But like people act like going over your people's house is like a crime or something. And my thing is, if you don't, I'm cool with that. If you do, I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me one way or other. I don't like how people have tried to like unilaterally just tell people you can't do this. Like, I'm grown, and that approach generally doesn't work. It just makes that one person feel better because now they said something to somebody.
Can see that.
You know, but people get so angry about it. It's like, and I mean, if you look at it, you say hell no.
No.
I'm just saying, like the and I understand the 4th of July. I feel you on that. But the reason I'm saying that is that some of people, and I don't care, bro. You could have left that up. Some of people's rationale about why they're not celebrating it, I just don't. That could be applied to every day of the year.
That was the point I was going to make.
Yeah,
like you have to. Well, I'm just going to clarify for people like myself that people tend to all throw in a box when they make mention of conscientious or woke folks having a problem with Black people celebrating white holidays. I'm just going to clarify because I'm so sick of getting thrown in a box. You have people, whole spectrum of where people fall with their wokeness or their consciousness or whatever you want to call it. You have some people that's very clear that we don't celebrate certain holidays, the holiday itself, not necessarily against gatherings. At this point, it's kind of common that most of your people are going to be off that day. Like, you have to get your time where you can get as many people together when you can, and that's completely understandable. Now, where people like me come in at is, why is there no push to have other days where we do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we have family reunions that are dwindling. Like, no one does family reunions the way we used to do family reunions 20 years ago. There's no push for that resurgence. There's no push to put the importance back into family reunions. But is still going strong with 4th of July. It's still going strong. Well, now Memorial Day is one that I have no issue with at all, just because of the history of Memorial Day. But you know, Christmas and Thanksgiving and 4th of July, these holidays are always going to go strong because of the country that we're in. Now, if you're going to celebrate because those are the days you got off, that's when you're going to see a bunch of family. That's cool. But let's start. We got to start somewhere with making some other traditions that are for us. And if we're not going to do that, at least put energy into the ones that are already established, such as Mother's Day and Father's Day and family reunions and Juneteenth. Because you don't get these arguments on Juneteenth. All people want to argue about is, we still not free. We still not free. No, you know what I'm saying? It's a ridiculous argument. No one's talking about the fact that that's a day that people off that we can celebrate. No one even considers that type of thing. So it's a catch-22 for me anyway in cases like this. I'm not going to celebrate. I'm way on the extreme. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't want your plate. No, I'm good. It's like 5 other days out of the year where the majority of the people who I want to see are going to be off on that same day. I can get with y'all and we can put that together. So I don't have no excuse for it. But I do understand some people's, rationale with the situation. I'm just really low, on the excuses registry. You know what I'm saying?
My thing is this. Okay, if you totally against it and you want to get other people against it too, first off, most people, I don't recall ever in the history of my family going over anybody's house to actually celebrate the 4th of July. Wasn't no flags hanging, wasn't no, my country, 'tis of these shit. No, it was barbecue and liquor. And something to smoke, if that was what your indulgence.
When you were a child, though, didn't you?
Huh?
You popped firecrackers on the 4th of July, though, when you were a child at some point, didn't you?
Yeah, that didn't have nothing to do. I mean, I blew up shit other times during the year, too. It had nothing to do with that particular day. It was just like, okay.
Except for New Year's and the 4th of July.
When your mama say it's okay for you to buy some firecrackers, you do that shit.
I'm look, when you're a kid, it's not a lot of control over that. But that also says that those adults were doing the same thing. We've been practicing the same thing forever. And there's never been a reason for black people to practice that. I'm not saying.
But what I was going to say though,
they don't know any better.
What I was going to say though is that give people an alternative. Like I understand us having our own days. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't like the idea of July the 4th, okay, let's come up with something that replaces July the 4th and just put it on July the 4th. Give people an alternative to use the time that we already, for the most part, got off anyway, to do something different. It don't have to be fuck the flag day or no shit like that, but it can be, celebrate whatever you want to come up with. My thing is, people just like to complain for the sake of complaining. It'd be the same people every freaking holiday, or somebody say happy birthday to somebody complaining about that shit too. You wake up and say hello world. Somebody is upset with you for talking to the whole world and not just them. People just want to complain for the sake of complaining. But don't just complain, offer a healthy solution.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Don't complain if you don't have some kind of solution. I agree with that. But I'm going to say 99% of the people who I did see that had something to say about celebrating yesterday weren't complaining just for the sake of complaining. They were stating their position on a subject that they have been awoken about. You know what I'm saying? Like saying it as if we're complaining is really undermining what we're trying to do as black people in a country that's against us. What we're trying to do is spread the education that we have. Now,
I'm not undermining anybody though. Like my thing is I'm saying is people be undermining their own argument with their delivery. The delivery is so trash. Nobody gives a shit whether you got facts or not.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting into. Some of us can definitely, change the way that we say those things to people. Our message, like no one wants to receive the message if it's wrapped in shit. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with you on that. But my point still stands. Whether they were doing that or not, they weren't doing it because they were complaining. They were doing it because it's something that they believe in, that they want other people around them that they have to live their lives with and around and deal with to understand the same thing. A lot of us just need to work on how we get that across to people.
Yeah, and that'd be my thing, like, fuck you, you a coon if you celebrate the 4th of July. Like, bro, it's one day out your life. Like, why are you
and
that
most people
upset
who do that
with somebody?
are newly. Most people who talk like that and act like that are newly awakened.
That's not true.
When you're newly awakened, you feel like you know some shit that ain't nobody else knew. You know what I'm saying? And you like super aggressive about it. But then when you kind of get some years into your journey, all the debating and the argument calms down, and you know what I'm saying. So when I see people like that, I'm always thinking, man, how you must have just picked up a book like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but that's just not true. Because I've been seeing some people that I've seen for a couple of years doing the same shit. It's like they copy and paste their speech. So I copy and paste my response. Yeah, that's pretty much what they do. They copy and paste their shit. When it's Christmas, it's they delete Christmas and insert the newest holiday. But at what point does it, it's like some people want you to walk around and be angry all the time, and then they get angrier if you're not angry all the time.
Look, I am under the belief that if you're not have some degree of anger as a black person in this country, then you are blind to what's going on in front of your face every day. There has to be some level of anger and resentment being in this country. There has to be. But does that have to translate into all of your interactions with everybody? No, absolutely not. I can give you a whole, hour argument every single day, and it's probably going to never sound exactly the same every single day as long as I'm in this country. I could do that. But 5 minutes later, I can give you a really pleasant conversation. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It comes and it goes. You turn it off and on, but it's always there. It's always there. It's just whether you're being conscientious about it at that moment or not, whether you're aware of it at that moment. But there's always something that, being a black person in this country that is there to feel angry about. And I'm one of them people.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Look who you taking it out on though. You claiming Hey, King Hebrew, I'm not a Cleveland fan. I'm sorry, totally off topic. I ain't a Cleveland fan, so I don't really care. I'm originally from Detroit. I just happen to live here, bro. Nice try, though. and my apology for the buffering on the YouTube. I can't control that. I have literally cut down every other program, so that's the only thing I got running is the OBS. So hopefully that'll resolve itself. If not, it'll still be on iTunes. It'll still be on Blog Talk. And you can call 347-855-8692 and press 1 if you want to get on air.
King Hebrew needs to be down, call up, so we can be 2 against 1.
You say what?
I said he just needs to go and call up so it can be 2 against 1.
Oh, my goodness. And I don't know if you can see the live stream, but in the upper right-hand corner, that dude is me. That is my celebration. Outside of, okay, but this dude had a coffee mug. I mean, not a coffee mug, but he got a cup with it. Huh?
Is that your barbecue pit?
No, I'm lying. That's not really me.
Oh.
Look at this dude's cup, though. He got a picture of himself in some red, white, and blue shorts. Like, I'm not doing all that, but you sipping Coke 45, bruh. That's just a bad look right there. And I'm sorry, but that video just happened to have me cracking up because I could see myself doing that as a prank for somebody. I also, let me see, what time is it? It's about 7:30. Now, let's talk about these whoopings right quick. You want to hear this clip from your boy Derek Grace?
Shoot.
All right, hold on.
But if you kill my son, I'm going to kill you. I'm not going to get on TV and cry and call for Reverend Sharpton. I'm going to quietly sit back, bury my baby, and then I'm going to figure out how to kill you and your wife and kill you and your children. Every black parent that have lost the child to the bullets of the enemy in uniform who's supposed to be your protector, you should go kill those enemies. That's your duty as a human being. And if you can't protect your family, you're going to bring a baby in this world, raise them up to a man, child, or a woman, and then you're going to let somebody come and shoot them down like a dog in the street, not only go into court and get off and laugh in your face, but they pay them back pay. And you're just going to get on TV and cry. No, your obligation is to go to your grave to avenge your children. That's your duty as a human being, black man.
And my apologies. Apparently, I labeled that wrong. However, we can let's talk about that.
That should have been first anyway. Now, you don't even have to ask me my opinion, because you already know what Dr. Small said. You know, chances are I agree with. So.
Yeah, so we're just gonna say you biased and move on. And
No, it's not biased though. It's really not biased. Whether I knew him or not, the truth of the matter is civilization has gotten us to a point where we are empathetic in situations where we should not naturally be empathetic.
I feel that
there aren't many animals on the higher end of the intelligence spectrum that do not revenge a death, unprovoked death. I mean, even elephants do it. You know what I'm saying? You have packs of wolves that will go hunt down something that killed one. Like it's the natural reaction of
that is
the animal kingdom.
But it's not. The onus is not just on the parents of that particular animal. It is on the pack.
Absolutely.
And that's where I would disagree. At least maybe I'm reading it wrong or hearing it wrong. But it seemed to me like he was putting the onus specifically on the family of the person who was attacked or murdered. And I don't look at it that way. I think that should be like a community-wise. That should be a global issue. It should not be definitely put just on the family. And then it's like it's y'all fault if y'all don't do anything. But then if you do something, everybody just gonna be like, oh, that's dope. Salute, salute, salute. And they're going to let you rot away in prison by yourself.
I get your point, but that wasn't even a point of conjecture in that conversation. They weren't talking about whether it's, the community or family or just the responsibility of the parents. That's just how that response came out. I mean, I'm sure he would agree that the community in general should have something like that in place. We should have that attitude where if you offend one of us, you offend all of us. Unfortunately, the majority of our communities, at least in this country, are not that way. And ultimately, as a parent, you are first responsible for your offspring. It's good if your community or if you have an extended network that feels the same way, but ultimately, it is your responsibility to protect your children, and you absolutely.
But see it's not it's everybody's responsibility to protect your children.
But that's not what we're talking about, though, Job. That's not the topic. That's not.
I mean, I know it ain't the topic, but I gotta, that's just the way I look at it, though. Like it should. To me, we should be trying to fix that aspect of us. Like, why are we no longer a community first? As opposed to.
But it's like a totally different subject, though. The subject was letting something happen with your children. I was just trying to get to the point of the video about letting something happen to your children, and crying about it, and then not doing anything after, especially when you see the people who've done something to your children move on with life and actually go to a better position, which is normally what happens. They get paid. GoFundMe, they get paid for interviews, they still get out, like you said, their back pay. So they end up in a better position they were in before, and you end up without your child. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is something that we're overlooking when we get in front of the camera and say, "Oh, I forgive you," God, Jesus, and whatever they get on camera and do these ridiculous speeches about forgiving the police officer or whoever that you got finished killing your child.
I ain't with that, by the way.
And that when a black parent get up there and I can't, and I can't have hate in my heart, and I forgive you, and no, I don't.
I mean, but to be fair, that is a situation that I can't even fathom being in.
Absolutely.
So I don't want, I try not to really put my
you're not gonna get up there
on
and
the
say that you
situation out
forgive
there.
the person, though.
Because but they got a right to grieve in their own. They have taken the biggest loss, a loss that neither one of us or most people that's listening can't even understand. I may not agree with the way you go about it, but that's your right to go about grieving in whatever way helps you and your family cope.
You can, but you know what? You can't say in one breath that you grieve the way you want to grieve, and that's up to you, and blah 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 blah, and then say as a community we all need to do something about that. Because what if you like, no, I'm gonna forgive this officer, and then I'll be like, well, over here we say fuck that.
Yeah, but you can't dictate somebody's grief. Like grief is not a community issue. That's a personal issue.
No, you can't dictate someone's grief, but you can absolutely say someone's a fucking fool for getting on national TV and saying I forgive the person that just blew my son away in the back of his head.
But why would you want to add to that person's misery?
What person? Oh, the parent?
Yeah.
It's not adding to their misery.
What is that accomplishing? Telling that person that they a fucking fool. What do you gain from it?
I didn't say I was gonna call anybody on their phone and tell them that. I'm way over here on the other side of my television. I'm on the other side of my television in a whole other state looking at them do that. They're not gonna know what I feel about them.
Okay,
I'm telling you and everybody that's listening that's stupid, and you can't say in one breath. It is, and it ain't even got anything to do with religion or whatever. It is retarded to me for someone to kill your child and for you to go through a trial and that person get off and you stand in front of millions of people on television and say that you forgive that person.
Again, I would not. I don't believe that I would do anything even close to that. However, I agree with what you're saying, and I'm not saying you per se, but you see it all the time. If you see a video of the family grieving, people slamming them for their response. But you love black people. Let them people mourn. Those individuals despite what they say, is not going to change what happened to their child, and it's not going to change the response from the community. They can get up there and be the pro-blackiest pro-black ever, and it is not going to change anything that happens after their child got murdered. We'll clap a little bit, and that's it. We ain't going to do shit.
It can't bring your child back, but standing on your square and showing that despite the fact that your child is gone, you are not forgiving them. They will forever be your enemy. That gives a message to the community, and slowly but surely, as more and more people do that, things shift.
I don't. Me personally, and it's some shit I can't even fathom. But for the sake of the conversation, I don't think I would say anything. I think I just would be no comment.
But that's the problem, though. We always take the docile, dormant, step on me, second class. We always take that way out. Not saying anything is saying a lie. Not saying anything is saying a lie. If you're not saying nothing and you secretly planning every night how you're going to kill that person, that's a different thing. But if you're not saying anything just because you don't want to have a comment and you're going to get up and go through your grieving period and go through the rest of your life and that's it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I get up there and act a motherfucking fool and lose my job. You gonna send me some money? No. I ain't gonna be able to pay my light bills. Y'all gonna send me some money? No. People gotta make decisions that's best for their situation and their future.
Anything about acting a fool. And if you work somewhere where you get fired because you got on TV and you told someone that killed your child that you don't forgive them if you get fired for that, why the fuck would you want to work that anyway?
It's called paying your bills. Most people work places they don't want to work.
That's
just the reality of life.
There's a whole other jacked up job that you can go find where you're not going to get disrespected to a point where someone values the few dollars that they pay you every hour over you mourning for your child, over how you feel about your child's death.
Yeah, I don't know that you've necessarily ever been in a position where you had to have a particular job or not.
Of course I have.
When you no, because your pops is.
I've been in my 20s, and I've been an independent college student working 2 full-time jobs and going to college at the exact same time. Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Well, that was not you in a position where you needed those jobs. You had a goal that you wanted to accomplish. That's different. You was trying to finish school.
Don't make assumptions. I had rent, I had a car note, and I had all my other bills that I had to pay because I lived by myself in a whole other state, in Michigan.
Right. You missed my point.
The only thing that I got paid was my tuition. I worked.
Let me ask you this though.
On my own.
Had you stayed at home, would you have had to pay all those things on your own?
If I stayed at home in Texas, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have still had rent and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, if you stayed with your parents.
I haven't stayed in after high school. I left out of my parents' house when I was 17.
What I'm saying is that was an option. That was an option for you. Some people do not have that option.
That's not the point though. You saying that it's likely that I never had any kind of job that I had to work, and I'm telling you that you're incorrect. And you want to keep adding to it to try to make your point. The point is,
because I'm right.
I did. You're not right.
As usual.
You're not right.
And if y'all think, matter of fact, if you listening and you think I'm right, let us know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're right.
For everybody agreeing
with
me.
You're right that I've never had to work a job that I needed.
I'm right about everything. I'm right about everything.
I guess you're gonna be right. Well, no, let me not put that scenario out there. But I guess you're gonna be right that if something happens, you need to kiss your boss's ass to keep your job instead of keeping yourself dignity and going to find another job.
I mean, well, I tell you what, I'm not gonna allow any person on the planet to define what my dignity is for me. So you can talk all the shit you want. I don't really care. I'm gonna do shit that absolutely like. And I've seen the treatment that everybody got some good shit to say. They'd love for you to stump off your job and act a fool or get up there and say what you gonna do, and people be celebrating. Keep doing that shit. And then you look up and they broke. They trying to play to some dumbass idea of what other people should hear. But them other people ain't helping your ass when you need the help.
But why do you translate you expressing your issues with what just happened with acting a fool? Why? Because you want to get up and say, no, I don't forgive this person. No, this was bullshit. No, this was not correct. No. Why does that translate for you into acting a fool? How come you can't do that with dignity?
The way I envision when you want somebody to say is some ridiculously crazy shit. I'm shooting everybody up and I'm doing all of this other shit. No, like I wouldn't do none of that shit. And for the record, that does not mean that I feel like retribution is not warranted and should not take place. It just means that I don't want to get on the TV and talk about this shit with everybody. Me personally, and I'm just that type of cat with everything. That's just me personally. It's not really necessarily about a job or anything else. I just don't want to get on TV and I'm about to be crying because, somebody then murdered one of my kids. I don't want to get on TV and look vulnerable. That's just me. So
we'll go with that because you brought up a bunch of shit that I didn't say about my point. So we'll go with that.
You just gotta have the last word. Oh, and my bad. The number is 347-855-8692. You gotta press 1 to get on air. And I got a couple more of these too. And if y'all got something, and I ain't see nobody agreeing with me yet. King Hebrew, what's up, bro? You supposed to be agreeing with me. Boots on the ground. You left? Where you at? and shout out to Knowledge Born, man. It's definitely family. Shout out to you, King. Let me see. This is an interesting one too. Let's check this one out.
Okay, so I just got off the phone with my homegirl, and she called me. She was like, hey, Daphne, we got to do something about all these cops killing black kids. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's time for change. But then I was like, you got to stop killing black kids, too. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, you've had 5 abortions. You've murdered 5 black kids, and they were unarmed. She was like, damn, you petty. I mean, I am petty, but am I wrong? Or in some weird way, am I right? They keep killing us, but we're not replacing us. That was heavy. I know y'all gonna come for me, but just know, I stay strapped.
Think about that one.
Me?
You all right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here boxing up stuff. I think, I will start by saying I am pro-life. I'm pro-life because I am pro-accountability. It hasn't got anything to do with the woman's body or that's a life in there or, those arguments. None of that I even touch. But I do think that accountability is something that most people lack when it comes to this particular topic. So I am not in favor of abortion for that reason alone. But there are instances where it's I'm not going to say a necessary thing, but definitely a thing where you can see the reasoning in. Now, I have a couple of issues with her video. First of all,
this particular one, or just her in general?
Her in general. This particular sister. I find it odd that you have such a friend who you say has had 5 abortions, and you can in a joking manner turn a community issue into that personal issue. I didn't find that funny whatsoever. That was super distasteful. You know what I'm saying? That's not something, and it's especially not something that you get and you want to turn it into some kind of commentary for thousands of people to comment on and go viral. I think that was very disrespectful.
That's if it's true, though.
And yeah, which I doubt if it is. But if that is the case,
my guess is she wanted to make that point, and she needed a decent story to kind of there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, fancy words and shit.
I agree with that. Secondly, it's a difficult topic because you don't know reasons behind everyone's abortion. I know the majority of women who get abortions, it's not a medical issue. You know what I'm saying? It's solely either a selfish issue that they got too many kids, they don't want any kids yet, or they're not financially prepared, which is why I'm big on accountability. But there are a lot of situations where women have abortions for medical reasons or from being violated. So I'm not going to say it's a necessary thing, but it's definitely a tool that can have a rational purpose for. You know what I'm saying? And then the third thing is that she was incorrect with her information. Black people are not, we're not dying faster than we're replacing ourselves. So that was just a really bad, stat or fact that, she tried to make it like it was a fact that she threw out at the end, because I would have been rolling with the video until she threw that in. That's true for white people. That's not true for any other ethnic group on the planet except for white people.
So the basic premise you agree with, just she got a couple of things wrong, and I can kind of go with that too.
It was just distasteful. It was just distasteful in general for me. I'm just not.
That
person is just not my cup of tea.
I don't understand why more of us, and I've never really declared I'm pro-life or pro-choice or anything like that. But I don't understand why more of us in our community are not pro-life. Like that part just has always boggled me. Never really got that. But can you imagine how our numbers had we not had one abortion?
I don't know. I don't think it's true. I don't think those stats are true. There is just no way. I don't know that many women that have had abortions. I know way more childhood friends that were teen mothers and, had a child at 15, 16, before they were 20, had 3 children. Like that. Like, there's no way that those stats are correct. It's just not.
I mean, but not everybody is going to tell you that either.
I know not everybody is going to tell you that, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, teen pregnancy is such a huge thing, and I'm sure a lot of us know when we were in our 20s knew somebody that already had 3 and 4 kids. Like, how many abortions are going on when there are way more women having children and have multiple children than there could be women that had abortions. There's just no way that those numbers, to me, seem like they could be correct. Yeah, I mean that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think there's enough.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, because it's a lot of people out there that especially with the medical advances that we got, quote unquote, now. Like, as soon as you find out you can get that quote unquote handled, where nobody would even know, or even really, that doesn't really know you, they wouldn't even suspect anything. And that's just one of those things that a lot of people take to their grave, or outside of their closest friend or two. It's just not something that people really gonna broadcast.
I'm just not buying that it's as common as people try to make it.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, you may be right. Let's see. Oh, and you know what? Oh, go ahead. It's damn near 8:00. Go ahead, give them the slogan.
Oh, I get to do it today?
Knock yourself out.
Okay, so you are tuned in to My Skin is My Sin Radio on Blog Talk Radio, from Goons to God. We only have one rule here, and that is be respectful. I got that right.
You got it right. Let me see. I had another one too. And I'm trying to figure out where. Damn, and you know what? I think I may have inadvertently. Yep, I did Dr. Small twice, because I also wanted to do, like I said earlier, Derek Grace, and basically he's got a video. I don't know if you've seen it or not, and that's why I did want to play it. But my apologies, and if I try to upload it now, I'm pretty sure it will. It'll freeze up my Blog Talk. It typically does that. But yeah. Anyway, he was basically saying that whooping your child is wrong, and it is of a slave mentality. And I mean, he was kind of going off too. And from not knowing him, we love to interview him. Have asked him. Let me put that out there. Never got a response, but hopefully we will. And I got a lot of respect for what he's doing, and for what I've seen, the interactions with his kids. A lot of respect for that. But his criticism was one of his criticisms of parenting was that people can't communicate effectively, while also at the same time calling people a bitch for beating their kids. Which, to me, that's not communicating effectively.
But no. His point was communicating effectively with your children, not with a motherfucker who got something to say because he got tattoos on his face. That's different.
I mean, but no, communicate. No, no, it's got nothing to do with what he looks like. I'm saying from him calling people bitches for whooping their kids, that's not effective communication on his end. Whether those people are his kids or not. Like,
he wasn't talking about effective communication, period. He was talking about effective communication with your children. So I don't know why people keep acting like
I understand that.
But
what I'm saying is,
but
how many conversations have you had where you started off calling somebody a bitch and it went well?
I don't say the word bitch very often. So me, it's probably, I'm sure never. But what I'm saying is that, and because I've seen that same point that you just made several times, but his video was about when you whoop your children, you are lacking effective communication between you and your children. And people turn his responses of calling people bitches and hoes and blah, 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 into him not being able to effectively communicate. And that wasn't true. That wasn't true. I mean, there's a lot of us who cuss people out and call them every name but the name they was given at birth, but they can effectively communicate when they need to. His point was about when you're trying to discipline your children, not in everyday conversation or in a heated conversation or an exchange or something with another adult.
I mean, but I get his point.
A moot point.
I get his point, and what I'm saying is, just as a regular ass brother on the street, the delivery was trash, but he had valid points in some areas. In some things, I'm like, you know what? Like, that's a case by case situation. Now, nobody should be like, you know, hitting your kid with a brick or no shit like that. No, but if you break out the belt every now and then, I don't think that you are the worst parent in the world. And I have seen where it has worked, and I have seen where it did make a difference. You know, I have seen where putting the kid in timeout worked, and I have seen where that just amused the kid. It, you know, it's all kind of case specific. Parenting is such a wide, you know, variety of shit that will work, because not every kid is the same.
But I don't think whoopings work at all. I don't know anybody who got a beating for sneaking out or being out past the street lamp or whatever, and that is what stopped them from doing it. I don't know anyone who got a whooping that was so bad that stopped them from doing whatever it was that they did. Usually it's just maturity and age that grows you out of doing something that you once got a whooping for. And I'm in the agreement with you that his delivery was trash, but I'm completely in agreement with his premise. We absolutely do not need to physically punish our children for our children to get in line. You know, what you need to do is invest more time and interest in your child and what their issue is that's causing the behavior problem.
That sounds so easy to do until you got to work 70 hours a week.
It don't sound easy to do. It doesn't. It's not supposed to sound easy.
You know,
if I said it like that, that's not how I was trying to make it sound. It don't sound easy.
Sometimes, as a parent, you need the quickest fix to the solution. And is that the rightest thing on the planet? No, it's not. But you need to let your child know immediately that this is a behavior that qualifies for me whooping your ass. This is a behavior that you shan't be caught doing again.
There's a lot of other things you can do.
I feel what you're saying. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, you know, like there are times, like I remember one time my mother slapped the dog shit out of me. Never did that shit again. You know, so yeah, it does work in some instances, and in some instances it just don't.
I mean, I don't know. Whatever your mama slapped you about, did you not do it because you felt embarrassed by what you did, or you felt ashamed by what you did, or you didn't want to be slapped again?
I didn't want to be slapped again.
That's your truthful answer?
Absolutely.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Who just wants to be slapped?
Wait. I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that. I don't believe that because if a whooping stopped a child from misbehaving, you would only have to whoop a child a handful of times. You would only have to whoop a child a handful of times. Most people who got whoopings got dozens of whoopings.
How would you know? You just went from saying you don't know anybody that got no whoopings, and now you saying most people that got whoopings.
No,
you got to make up your mind. It's one of the two.
I didn't say I didn't know anybody who got whoopings. I said I don't think it's necessary. I got whoopings. What do you mean? I didn't say I don't know anybody who got whoopings.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping in.
That you are.
So, and you turned out all right, though, right?
But I didn't turn out all right because, okay, first let me say I had one parent who I occasionally got a whooping from, and I had another parent who I never got any whoopings from. And I will tell you right now, one parent I was afraid of and one parent I respected, and I did not want to let them down.
Okay.
So in one case, I didn't do something because I feared that parent, and in the other case, I didn't do something because I respected them so much that I didn't want them to be disappointed in me. You have to make a decision on which one you want your child to do. Do you want your child to not do something?
So let me ask you this then: you love your parents though, right?
Yeah.
You don't hold any grudges against them because you got whooped once or twice?
I would say no.
Turned out to be a good person, doing for your community, went to school, got a hell of a lot of accomplishments, right?
I would say for the most part.
It might have been the combination of one person whooping you and the other person talking to you.
No,
that's the balance. That is but you can say that, but that's the balance of having two parents.
It wasn't.
That is the reason for having two parents.
Not,
one parent typically is the disciplinarian, and the other parent typically is not.
That doesn't happen to everybody, and I am one of 4 children, and we are starkly different. So if that was the case, if that combination of one parent that was a disciplinarian and one that wasn't was the case, then me and my other 3 siblings would all have similar patterns, and we don't.
Y'all not the same people, though. Like, nothing that you say is going to be absolute in its efficacy.
But that's not the point, though. If we're going to throw in different variables because you're an individual, then you can't say whooping anybody helps them. Because you can say, what
I'm saying is the fact that everybody, that we are all individuals, his way may work for him beautifully, and it does not necessarily translate to working for everybody else. Just like what I'm saying may work for me beautifully, but it's not going to translate and it may not even translate to the kids in your own house.
Okay, but that's his opinion. That's his experience. And
I'm not knocking it, but I got a right to have an opinion based on what I'm saying too, right?
You are. You and a whole bunch of other people internalize that. Like he didn't say, like he gave his opinion, and that was what it was. And some people are going to think that whooping their children is doing them some kind of justice. But I don't think you're denying that you can do other things and get the same results. I mean, you yourself said sometimes as a parent you got to find the quickest, method to get the
yes, you do.
That you're trying to do. But are you saying that there weren't other things that you could have done?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying for each
so
child,
that was his point.
It is a whole different situation. And I'll take it a little further too. You got house rules, and then you got case-specific situations. House rules, everybody got to follow. That's unequivocal. But then you have, one child that may get in trouble a lot more, and they may respond differently to how you discipline them, and that happens with a lot of children. It doesn't mean that you got to, like I say, beat somebody over the head with a brick or some shit like that. But not every kid is going to respond effectively to timeouts or whatever other means you're talking about. Maybe that kid just need a foot in the ass. And there are some people, you can look at people now, adults, and say, you know what, my mama didn't take no shit. She whooped us for this, that, and the third, and that stuck with me, and they turned out to be a great person. You can have the exact same thing, exact same experience as far as turning out to be a great person and never been whooped. It just depends. It's not even a discipline. It is the source of the discipline. And if it is coming from love, then that kid is going to know.
There is no physical discipline coming from love, first of all. You don't hit people. You don't hit people to show love. It's like a man whooping his girlfriend's ass, talking about I love you. That's why I beat on you.
Okay, but that's not love right there though. That's a whole different ball game. But if your kid is gonna touch a hot ass stove and you slap them on the hand, you're doing it because you love them.
At the end, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
At the end of it all, you're choosing to physically discipline them instead of seeking some other avenue. That's what you're doing. There is no case. There is no case where There are a million things that you could do, and a million things don't work except for an ass whooping. There's not.
Well, like I say, that's everybody gonna have a difference of opinion.
It's an option. It's an ass whooping is an option.
Everything is an option.
Is not a necessity.
Everything is an option.
So why are people having an issue getting his point? His point was you don't have to whoop your children.
Okay,
so
but see, I think you are misconstruing getting his point and people disagreeing with his point. I get what he's saying. I'm even to some extent agreeing with him. I'm just saying that what he's saying is not an absolute. And the way that he's saying it even minimizes the good points that you know I'm a big proponent of people's delivery. And when you got a really great point and you deliver it so fucked up, people only remember the so fucked up part.
It is, but hey, you can't be responsible for another adult's inability.
Yes, you can be responsible for that when you're a public speaker.
No,
yes, you can.
You know what?
He's too seasoned at doing this shit to not know that he's going to elicit a certain response with the way he's saying shit. He knows that.
But and it could be on purpose that he does that. But you know
exactly.
You know what I have an issue with when people who bring up a point like that. People say all the time, oh, we got brothers like Umar, we got brothers like Polite, we got brothers like Sinetta and this, that, and the third. You eat the meat and you spit out the bones. Yeah, what they do in their personal life or how their personal personality I may not gel with, but some of the information, some of the things they do, some of their deeds, is good. But then you got somebody like him that's telling you a point that you pretty much agree with, but I don't like his delivery. Oh, I don't like that he calling folks bitches and hoes. Which is it gonna be?
I mean, why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't I look at what? Well, that's basically what you're saying. You basically, I'm trying to say there are parts of it I agree with. There are some parts I don't. That to me is just a rational way to look at something. You may not completely agree with everything about a lot of shit. But you take the good, you take the bitter and the sweet. Maybe that will inspire somebody that whoops their kids to take other options and see if that works. Maybe they didn't know those other options existed, and now he enlightened somebody. I hope that's the case. But
I mean,
to act like he didn't know, like he goes about the way he goes about it to elicit a certain response. I'm not mad at him for that. I respect the brother, and I respect his opinion. I don't mean I have to agree with it.
He also went viral from doing that and got a conversation started. So maybe that was absolutely part of why he did that. I
just said that.
So
that's
so what is the point? So why are you?
But you have to get that conversation started. You have to anticipate that you are going to get a lot of backlash when you know how it works.
But Jobs, you started this conversation talking about him calling people bitches and whatnot and this, that, and the third. And the point I'm making right now is that you occasionally, especially when I disagree and say that I don't, think. Because I'm one of those people, I'm all or none. Practice what you preach. You can't tell me something, your behavior doesn't reflect that and think that I'm supposed to want any of the shit that you're spewing. I don't care how.
I mean, but and that's it right there. Like life is generally not the all or none. You got a small percentage of all or none in life for most people. You have put yourself in a position where you can make more of those all or none calls than the rest of us.
But I'm not really talking about that right now. I'm not talking about that right now, though. I'm talking about the contradiction of sometimes we're not going to worry about the person and the personality, only the information, and then in this case over here, we're going to worry about the whole kid and caboodle. That's what I'm saying. It's the lack of consistency depending on who the person is that we're talking about. And that's why it's kind of hard for me sometimes to understand your argument with
But that ain't me, though. Like
talking about. No,
I'm the same about everybody. But I get what you're saying, though. It's a lot of people that are being hypocritical about it. I truly understand that, and I agree with you on that one. Me personally, like there's some shit, I might watch a Polite video and be like, I didn't like this particular part, but I did like that particular part. I'm gonna be that way with anything I watch or consume. If I watch a TV show, it may be some shit, it may be one part in the TV show that I thought was just tragically not funny. But overall, it was a funny TV show.
You're right,
Same
and
thing.
you're gonna take the point out of it. You're gonna get the point because you're a mature adult that don't take that shit personally, right?
That's just me. I can also look at it and say, I can understand where people are coming from with the way he's going about delivering the information. I can also have that agreement too. It doesn't it doesn't mean that he's wrong per se. In this instance, there is no quantifiable way to unequivocally say that he's right or wrong. Like, let's just keep it a statement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The truth of the matter is there are plenty of people who've never laid a hand on their children, and you got some children that, didn't turn out well and some who did. So it seems to me that whooping is not helpful because you can have that same situation whether you whoop or not. So what is the point of adding an extra variable? What is the point?
But just like I've been saying, like there, you can't be unequivocal about it. It's not an all or none situation. There's some people that got whooped and turned out to be great people. It's just not something that you're gonna ever be able to be absolute about.
Serial killers. I mean, it's you know what I'm saying? There are too many other variables. So because you know that, what is the point of adding the extra variable and you don't even know where it's going to be beneficial or not? It's surely because it benefits you. It's not because it's benefiting the child.
And the thing is, though, is that you say whooping is adding an extra variable because you don't believe in whoopings. People that do believe in whoopings, that's not adding an extra variable. That's just part of their repertoire.
No, but that's a lack of education on the topic, though. That's a lack of if you're just whooping your children because you think that's what's going to work, that's just a lack of education on that particular topic. Because I think a lot of people, if they actually sit down and say, you know what, maybe my child needs this. Maybe I need to start asking my child how their day went. Maybe I need to be more involved and look at their progress report. Maybe I need to go to school and talk to some of their teachers. Maybe I need to meet some of the parents of their friends that they hang out with. If people were a little bit more invested in their children and spent a little more time, and if you ain't got time to do that, because some people work a lot, and especially people who are single parents, if you don't have time to do that, try alternative methods first. I tell people all the time, look, look, your children are my children. I'm not paying your rent. I'm not feeding your children. I'm not going to tell you not to whoop your children, but I implore you to try other methods first. Have you tried taking your child's electronics away? Have you tried telling them they can't go to the sleepover? Have you tried telling them you're not going to buy the shoes that they want for their birthday? Have you tried doing those things first? If you have not, and your go-to has always been, go get the belt, I'm going to whoop your ass, you are a sucky parent.
I mean, no parent, no normal parent that whoops their kids. That is not always the first.
That's a lie.
It is so. Like I said, no normal parent.
Do you know how many people I saw on that viral post that didn't have any kind of explanation for why they never tried anything else? That's what they were taught, to get a belt and pop the baby one.
But that does not mean that is their first means of discipline. That is never for a normal parent. First off, the first thing that you say, before you even get a whooping, before anybody grabs the belt, they tell you no or stop. That's number one.
Okay.
So it's never the first thing somebody does. That's what for a normal parent. Now, if that's the first thing you're doing, then we ain't talking about whoopings. We're talking about your ass need to go to jail. That's different.
No, you know good and well that most people who whoop their children are not saying, let me try something else first, and if that don't work, then I'm going to whoop their ass. You know good and well, and that most people are not doing.
I can only speak for the whoopings that I have seen in my family. And it never, it was never a surprise whooping. You didn't know it was coming. You knew what the hell you did. You was told not to do it. You continued to do it, and you got your ass beat. That's how it was.
I'm sure, but that don't mean that you couldn't. The same thing couldn't happen if you knew that you was about to get your shit taken away, or your mom was gonna make you wear them shoes from the dollar store.
So your one parent that whooped you, They just did no speech, no nothing, no tell you to stop. They just went from zero to ass whooping in an instant.
I'm gonna tell you, since we talking about my personal experience. No, none at all. Didn't try anything else, because that's all that. And we talked about my mother specifically because I'm sure you know that my daddy never. Well, he did once. Okay. So nothing. Never tried anything.
So you
was
just bad. That's all. You was a badass kid.
No,
I
wasn't. I was the least problematic of my parents' children. But look, okay. But I did occasionally get a whipping. But look, I'm gonna tell you what. The first time that I can remember my mother being apologetic about an ass whooping was, I believe I was in the 3rd or the 4th grade, and my mother got called to school for a teacher-parent conference because I was that child that didn't pay attention. I talked all the time. I was never doing what the teacher told me to do, but I made straight A's. I never made a B until I got to high school. My mother felt so bad when they told my mother that I did not have a behavior problem. I wasn't being challenged in class. Do you know how many times I got my ass whooped because the teacher wrote on the thing that Karen doesn't pay attention in class, Karen won't stop talking, Karen this, Karen that, and it was because that my mind was not being fed properly? That it was because no adult was taking a moment to stop and being invested in what I needed as a child? My point is that if more parents did that, more parents and adults, because it's teachers too, it's aunts and uncles too, it's grandparents too, it's, you know what I'm saying? If we stopped and did that, we would have less of children expecting that their behavior needs to be bad, because we do that too when we tell a child. We think it's cute. Oh, he's so bad, girl. Oh, he's bad. And
well,
then children.
No. That's bad parenting.
But it's also bad parenting. Yeah. It's also bad parenting to run to a belt, and you haven't taken the time to invest in what your child needs aside from that ass whooping.
That's totally different in my opinion.
It's not.
In which these all are.
That's what I've been saying.
That's your opinion that you think is bad parenting, and it depends. It's situational with me.
Parenting to whoop your child.
Yeah, well, sometimes somebody you might need an ass whooping. I'm not. I can't. Look, my mother has really only whooped my ass once, and the slap from Zeus. Other than that, it was that was it. But those two moments, totally, I'll never, ever forget. And I ain't, I deserved the ass whooping, and I deserved to get the shit slapped out of me. There's no argument there. But there is a question for you. Are the parents too soft these days? And shout out to King Hebrew.
I think so. Just because of people I know personally with children, I think so. I think they too busy. I think they on their phones too much. I think they in their cameras and their mirrors too much. I think they on Facebook too much. And they got children that got behavioral issues, not because of the child or the child's personality, but because the child is not getting the attention that they should be getting. I mean, it's always going to come back to me with, are you invested in your child? How much time have you spent with your child? Because you being at work, and I know it's hard, so I'm not trying to say it like it's easy, but a lot of parents go to work for 8 to 10 hours a day. They got to come home. They got to, you got to run errands after school, pick the kids up if they got extracurricular stuff. You got homework. You got baths. You got to take care of yourself personally. I get it's not a lot of time. And then on the weekends, you got a lot of parents who, it's the weekend. Your kid is shut up in their room, or they on the tablet, or they watching television.
You want some you time.
When do you get that time where you sit down and ask your child, so what's going on with you? Is there anything going on? Is there anything we need to talk about? Anything I need to know? It's a lot of.
And you know what? That's a tragic problem in this country, is the inability of parents to legitimately have the necessary time to adequately raise their children. It's a catch-22. Do we want to live in a decent spot so they can have a decent school, or do I want to pay the lights and the gas this month? It's unfortunate that wages have stagnated to the point where I mean, you look at the list of, cities that you can't live in on, what is it, 2-bedroom apartment or 1-bedroom apartment on minimum wage. It's a huge list. That's, and add a child to the mix. And that doesn't mean that you don't have help. I'm not even talking about somebody single. I'm talking about if it's two of y'all and y'all got a couple of kids, it can be tough.
Yeah, that issue runs so deep, though, and I think that the root to that issue is the fact that we are becoming an instant gratification society. Because we 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even for a lot of cases, 20 years ago, we had a parent that stayed at home and we had a parent that worked.
Right.
And if that wasn't the case, we had a lot of people who didn't live in the city. They lived in more rural areas. You know what I'm saying? Where there was less of, I got to shop at the supermarket all day. I live in the city where rent is more expensive, where lights are more expensive, where I got to pay a water bill too. You know what I'm saying? So we have more expenditures now just because of how society is set up than our grandparents did back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
And we weren't dependent for every meal, on somebody else.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason people had 8, 9, 10, 11 kids. They had to tend to the farm.
Yep.
You're right. Like it's just, man, it has. And I was watching. What the crazy part is? It's totally off topic. Well, not really, but I was watching a video of Trump the other day talking about how people are getting paid too much. That we shouldn't get paid. We should get paid less so that so that companies can be more successful.
And do what? So they can be more successful and do what? Is that going to translate into the population some kind of way?
Oh no, they ain't concerned about the population. He's just concerned about the companies.
Oh Lord, that was stupid.
Yeah. Well, I'm not shocked.
But he acts like the company, like he's saying companies like that's a living, breathing thing.
In a lot of aspects, it's looked at as a living, breathing thing, except for culpability.
What is that going to do for the country by us, making Walmart richer, or by us making, British Oil richer, or all these other Fortune 500 companies? What is that going to do for the country?
I mean, I think you're going off the premise that he gives a shit about the country.
Yeah, it doesn't. You're right. I can't. You're right. There's no way I'm gonna catch on to that strain of thought right there. That's ridiculous. But he is in favor of trickle down economics, so I'm really not surprised. All he sees is there's two categories. There's poor and there's rich. There is no in between. There is no middle class. There is, you know what I'm saying? So, it's a ridiculous thing. But I don't know why I'm so surprised at anything that he said.
Yeah, I mean, and to keep it a stack, from my point of view, every president is in favor of trickle down economics. Some of them just tell you up front. They all do the same shit. Oh, I
don't know.
Like that,
I don't think.
Like when Obama gave all that TARP money to those companies, that's trickle down economics at its finest. That is not a free market system. If you have a company and your company fails, the free market system is supposed to allow your company to fail. That should be a possibility. Or then you have people that's in business acting with impunity because they know there are no repercussions. So no, giving them $1 trillion or whatever the hell it was ridiculous to me. What he could have did with that money was paid off every person's student loans in the country.
Yeah, but you do know, the president can't sit and just make decisions like that. There's like a whole process that it has to be done for something to be changed or put into effect that way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, influence is only going to go.
That's not necessarily true. They got a lot of leeway of shit that they can unilaterally do. They can't enact a law, but they damn sure enact regulations, which can, in some instances, can be even more crucial than actually enacting a law.
But there are funds that are set up by Congress, and there's no president that can say, okay, no, we're not bailing out, these companies. Instead, we're allocating this money for student financial aid debt. Like, it doesn't work like that. There's different departments. There's protocols. You know what I'm saying? As much as I'm for evening the playing field, this is, at this point, 400 years of deep-rooted, protocol and policy that has had little change over the last several hundreds of years. I don't think there's ever going to be one president that's going to be able to go into office and make such radical changes.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all.
There needs to be a series, like 5, 6, 7 presidents that get in office and do the same thing so that it becomes the norm and the expectation.
That's kind of the gift and the curse of having the presidency, though, too. The good thing about the president is that they only around for such a short amount of time, but the bad thing about it is that they only around for such a short amount of time. You can't develop no consistency ideologically, and you don't give them the time to really see if shit gonna work, because shit never really works, because it basically goes back and forth for the most part, Democrat, Republican, maybe a couple of Republicans in a row, maybe a couple of Democrats in a row, but it's never really enough time for a set of policies to even go through fruition. Like, as soon as Trump got in office, I'm getting rid of Obamacare. I wasn't a fan of Obamacare, but did it have enough time to really see if that was going to help us as a quote unquote country going forward? Not really.
It's funny, we made a joke about that. It's like when pharmaceutical companies try to introduce new drugs, they have to go through usually a 20-year process, a 20-year experiment to see any
with the FDA and all that other shit.
Side effects. Yeah, but we don't do that with presidencies and politics and laws. We don't wait. We don't say, okay, this law must remain in effect for 5 years so that we can gauge its effectiveness. Like, it would make sense to me that there would have to be some. I get the whole process of it has to be voted on. I get the logistical part. What I don't get is there not being a duration, because everything that's based on a scientific method, there has to be a duration. But politics, they just throw it all out the window. There's no science to it whatsoever. It's just madness.
I mean, I think that's kind of intentional too, because it gives them to go back and forth fighting the same shit over and over and over when they really don't be doing much. Except, I will say, people is so slipping on what Trump has really effectively done is he has taken over 2 branches of government, and people ain't even peeping that shit. Apparently this guy has got more judges in, I think, on the federal court system than any other president during the same time frame. And what he is doing is he is effectively saying, at this point, I can write an executive order for anything. The Congress may even write a law to dispute my executive order, and all I got to do is sue them. And once they get to court, they'll win, because those they people that they already put in office.
Hell, the man said with the allegations that he was going to court for, he could pardon himself.
I wonder if that's true.
People know, yeah. It actually, they did a whole commentary on a couple of news shows and researched and asked experts of the field, and as acting president, not acting, as the active president, he could absolutely pardon himself. It's an anomaly. We pardon himself. How retarded that they don't have anything in place for if the president gets brought up on any kind of felony charges. It's just stupid. But I think
that's crazy. I guess they thought that impeachment was sufficient, and that this would never be a country of complete yes men. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm reaching here.
He a new breed. That's for sure. He a new breed. So
he is. Oh my goodness! Like I rarely agree with much that any president does, But generally speaking, I don't think that they are just really dumb. And like, dude, it's just. And at this point, I don't know if it's dumb or brilliance. It's his stupidity, his angle.
You know, I don't think anything that he is doing is stupid. I think what's going on, at least to me anyway, is that, you know, for a few decades now, that kind of behavior has been so covert. I don't think that there's anything new about it. I just think that it's just fascinating that the person that's supposed to be perceived to be the most powerful, influential person in the country is one of these people that has this behavior that used to be so covert. You know what I'm saying? I think that people are just shocked at that. I don't think if it was your next door neighbor that acted exactly like Trump, nobody would bat an eye. They'd be like, oh, that's that, you know, that's that racist, money-hungry guy that doesn't, you know, like he doesn't get it. He doesn't get how. You know what I'm saying? But it's because it's such a high position that it's supposed to be something, you know, ridiculous. I don't think it is at all. I think that he's one of a million people like himself. I think he just happens to be in a position that very few people get into.
Yeah, he's still an idiot, though. Yeah. You know, for what he is trying to accomplish, he has pretty much done most of it. Damn. He's pretty much done most of what he's been trying to accomplish. He's trying.
Aside from getting richer and being the most talked about, the most infamous president in the history of U.S. presidents, aside from those two things, what is he trying to get accomplished?
I mean, I think he's trying to put black folks in their place.
But see, I don't buy the
from his point of view.
I don't buy the Trump being racist thing. I don't think it has anything. Trump don't like poor white people. Trump don't like Asians. Trump don't like Hispanics. Trump don't like anybody who don't have money. I don't buy the racist thing at all. Because he was president, Trump had no problem entertaining rich black people. No problem entertaining rich Hispanic people, rich Asian people. The only thing I've ever heard him say
because you can be racist as hell and don't give a shit about who you make money off of. That's different.
You can be.
That's the American way, quote unquote.
You can be, but I don't think that's the case with him. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think the dude is racist. I think the dude is classist.
I would agree with him being classist, but I do think he's racist too. Which in a lot of times, they both. You know, at the end of the day, he thinks he's better than other people for sliding out the right womb. Like he has some type of control over that shit. And when you hear his old professors talk about him, it's never in glowing terms. You know, but let that man tell it. He is the best. He is the most incredible man to ever have lived.
Yeah.
He has invented everything. He has created everything. If there is a successful tiddlywink player out there, it's not because they worked hard at tiddlywinks. It's because somehow Donald Trump has extended his aura to that person to increase their ability to play tiddlywinks.
You're so sedating, tiddlywinks.
Hey, I do feel like playing another joint or two, though. If y'all cool with that. Oh, and I ain't gave the number out in a minute. It's 347-855-8692. And if you heard of a viral video, something that we haven't talked about, let us know. Or if you got something that you just want to get off your chest, let us know. The water cooler is pretty much, talk about whatever. We just happen to have a couple of points of interest for this time. And you do got to press 1 if you want to get on air. And who is that? Scoring 57. I put the picture back up. It's just it's a slight delay between what I'm seeing and what y'all seeing. So it'll be back up there in a second. Oh man. Is this the joint right here? Somebody got a little upset with me in the live stream I did the other day.
for playing the song because apparently the brother is a Hebrew Israelite, and they didn't get up. They didn't have like a beef with the Israelites. They just didn't. They aren't a follower. Man, they got a little upset about that. I just thought the song was dope. Y'all tell me what you think.
Well, let me hear it.
Hold up. Praise the Most High. I know your name now. A higher I feel. Jumped in the gang now. If you ain't come a slave cargo shit, then who's you? Cause I've been reading the Bible lately and find out we's the real Jews. They lying. They ain't telling us the truth. Elder gave me the game and he's showing me the proof. He said, brother, who is you? Then took me to Deuteronomy. Man, they screwing us over. Spiritual side of me. I know you saw your dad for me. Ain't know he was kin to me. Got us breaking Sabbath and lying to us religiously. And I don't appreciate none of that. I went to Catholic school. They ain't told me nothing about Deuteronomy 28:68. Lying. So gang banging, I denounce that. Catholicism, I denounce that. That white dude they call Jesus, yeah, Borgia, I denounce that. I got heads where my house at, scripture where my mouth at. Aromo, I make it dance like David, so please we rouse that. Jesus still a soldier for the Most High. Now I keep a sword next to my knife. Preachers, modern day Pharisees, acting so divine. I was brought up round sinners, so with sinners I die. So you can catch the politicking with the pimps and thugs. Yeah, I relate to him, then I give him the word. The first thing I tell him, Christ, he look just like us. They leave the combo feeling Satan got us juice and stuff. But most to the blind, Israelites be blind as mice, following the way of heathens, Ishmael and Edomites. I ain't talking down to nations, but they supposed to follow you. St. John 4:22, salvation is of the Jew, Babylon is Timbuktu. Yeah, I had to read that too. Now I sound like Yeshaya, Lord forgive, they know not what they do. The church, they think I'm crazy. The pastor's trying to save me by giving me a one-way ticket to Hades. Elder Ricard. Hebrew hood music. I'm sticking to that truth that every man's a liar. I'm sticking to that truth that every man's a liar. I'm sticking to that word that every man's a liar. Yeah, Yasha out of Judah, hold up. Hand me my black ruler. Yeah, it's time for me to go in. Cause I'm from the tribe of Judah. They talking about hands up, don't shoot. A black dude kill blacks, bet y'all gon' shoot. A white dude kill blacks, bet y'all gon' lose. Saw you looking at us like a dog for these dang fools. It's sad, I know. Take me out this world, I don't want it no more. Ephesians 2:8, we were saved by grace, but not through ourselves. It was a gift from a higher. Hands up, praying through your Shire. Studying that word, the truth ain't no liar. Look me in my face and tell me I'm lying. You thought I was a lamb, boy, I'm a lion. Survival, never leave without my Bible. Always keeping that sword with me. I swing in front of my rivals. I step to you, ain't scared of you. Real Judah, we the real Jews. Jewish, I ain't heard of you. Oh yeah, that's right, they the converted dudes. I laugh cause it's funny. All y'all really concerned with is money. When you shot y'all return, y'all gon' burn in that money. Cause we get that last laugh, that's why it's funny. Hold up, pull up, a little bit of that wine though. I'ma take a few steps and put it down. I ain't trying to become no wino. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. We got to, cause a higher told us. Thank y'all for listening. Yo, PZ, we did it. All praise to the Most High. We kept it trill and true. Righteous one is the classic. Now here come Righteous 2. I'm gone. Okay, my Judah, my Benji, my Ephraim, Zebulun, Asher, my Levite, my Manasseh, my Naphtali, my Issachar, Simeon, Reuben, my Gadite. I do this for the 12 tribes. Got a 4-5 cock for your third eye. I spend time after Allah. They think I'm Al-Qaeda, but my people know we gon' ride. Judah, know what? I feel like Noah. Reprobate mind maker, Judah wanna throw up. Just got you called like a deadbeat dad, cause that nigga never show up. But my father, he could be your father, cause you see my father, he always there. We don't call him Yahweh, we don't call him Allah, we don't kiss no copper, we ain't with that there, man, you freak ass, she freak ass. All of y'all, man, y'all freak ass. Walk around the stone and go and kiss the stone, man, have you seen the stone, man, y'all freak ass. Yeshaya come, y'all ain't gon' kiss it no more. Or soon after, y'all gon' be kissing the floor. The first begot of the Most High, you can guarantee, man, he ain't raised up no hoe. They make bad good like Harry Potter, then cook up posters in they synagogues. Warlocks, we call them doctors, and Jehovah is their God. Turning their black cape for a white coat. Sucking out the spirit like it's light boat. They say vaccination's gonna change the nation. Now your son go to school in that trench coat. to be righteous. Fell off a few times, but got back up despite it. Gave her high on my bar. No paper, no pen, circumcised, I don't write it. You been still before you go somewhere, make life will feel like a cooler. Signing out this piece from the seat of Jacob. Real shooter.
I just played that because I can, and I happen to think it was dope. And hold on 1 second, scoring 57. I want to say, jeez. They wanted to know who the comedian was. And for some reason, I remember Octavius, but, oh, you know what? Oh, that's because that's where I got the video, Octavia something. But I got a strong suspicion that ain't actually her name. I think it starts something with a D. She's on Facebook though. Damn, and my apologies, I can't remember her name right now. But if I remember, what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll put it on the live stream in the comments. So my bad, fam. But she got a shitload of videos out there. If you trying to think. No, I don't know the business of this YouTube shit well. No, I do not. If I knew, I'd know her name. And excuse me. The crazy part is that I know I got the video somewhere, but when I try to look up other shit when we're doing the live stream, it as you can see, it just stopped. You know, and it just for whatever reason, if I try to do anything else, it's a wrap. And I think that the live stream did just stop on us. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. I don't know. If you can hear the sound of my voice, let us know in the chat room. And no, I do not know the business of it very well. I'm trying to find that right now. You know, I ain't too hot at multitasking. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all that, but it is the truth. And these are the ones I just recently downloaded, and I don't see that one, which is odd. Oh, they let me go far back enough. Say it again.
We're going to start docking your pay.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something because, I mean, well, you know what? Yeah, I should have wrote it down. And like I say, my bad, but I don't want to take up too much time. Another thing I want to talk about. I know we talked about the smoking in the garage a little bit, but my bigger issue is what can we do to combat the plethora of them calling the police on us just for existing?
What can we do?
Yeah. Do we? You know, is there an idea? Is there a methodology? Is there something to fight back on doing this shit?
Not if it was left up to our own devices, the only thing I can see is to stop interacting with white people. But since that seems to not be the favorable action for black folks in this country, there needs to be some kind of demand for some kind of fine that's put in place for frivolous calls, you know, like that, or something that you can hold the caller actionable if some kind of minor call in death, to be able to charge not only the officer or officers involved, but the caller as well. If there's not going to be some kind of policy implemented, then what can be done?
I mean, yeah, and I don't know if it's necessary. Well, a lot of people don't give a shit about interacting with them or not.
I think so.
But
yeah,
I don't know if that's practical. Huh? Not in this country, anyway.
It's not practical. There's not a lot of options, you know, outside of minimizing your interaction. You know, I mean, I'm all for whooping the ass, honestly. I'm all for whooping the ass. I'm all for showing up at the house, showing up at the job, you know, catching them down the alley, Their face is gonna be viral and plastered everywhere. I'm for making their life miserable for the rest of their days. I think black folks need to get on code and start doing that, so they'll be scared to dial 911 in a petty situation like that. Now, I'm not saying that nobody should have the right to call for assistance if there's some real shit going down, but if you got the audacity to put your finger on a number to dial the police because there's a boy over here cutting grass and he accidentally cut across your invisible ass property line, I think you need your ass kicked. That's what I think. I think you're asking for it. I think you're asking for it.
There definitely needs to be, like you can get arrested for filing a false police report. I don't see how that's any different. And some of these, the cities where we are the predominant majority, we should at least be able to agree on that shit and get something like that passed. At least to make an example somewhere.
So we can just whoop their ass and make it. See, that's the kind of ass whooping I'm for.
I mean, that sounds dope, but then the police gonna show up and we may get shot in the process.
They show up everywhere. They can't show up everywhere. They can't show up everywhere all the time.
A black person beating up a white person is going to be priority number one on the radio.
I hate that argument, though. I hate that somebody might die, somebody might get shot. Like real change always takes some kind of death. It always takes some kind of death. I think that we have been conditioned to think that there is nothing worth dying for. There is nothing greater.
But no. I think that people are looking at it like, okay, if I'm in a garage smoking a cigarette and you call the police on me, that is not worth me losing my life over.
But I'm not talking about just that. I mean, period. Nobody, no one thinks there's anything worth dying for anymore. I mean, period. Like right to life and freedom and happiness should be worth dying for. And we've been conditioned to not feel that way. We've been conditioned into hopelessness. We're up here talking about, what we can do to have white people stop, and we both just agreed that this shit is not going to happen. There's, you know what I'm saying? That there's no good to that problem.
I mean, I'm just keeping it a sec. Like I get it. Like there are some instances. I think most people, when it's their family or their kid, it's more nuclear in nature. That I would take a bullet for so and so, who I love. But there was never really a time when a majority of us was willing to put our life on the line for anything in this country.
Oh, yeah, but you just said if it got to do with family or kids, and you do remember the top of the show you're talking about parents getting on television and saying they forgive an officer that just killed their child. So no, that's not even the case anymore.
When was that the case, though?
When was that the case?
Yeah.
You're aware that we had a bunch of movements where people risked life and limb for what they believed in, right? They got.
Oh, I'm aware of that, and I'm what I'm saying is, I guess let me rephrase. When I say when is the case, I mean for the majority of us. Like we didn't always had, people that was definitely willing to put their life on the line and did, and some people died for the cause. I'm saying like. Generally speaking, that's just not the case. Those are the great ones, and that's why we look at them as the great ones. But the average person is not doing that. How do we change that?
Look, I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? In the 60s and 70s, I'm not Haitian. I wasn't there for the Haitian Revolution. But there have been some cases where thousands and tens of thousands of people band together, risking life and limb for freedom or happiness. So it has happened.
And again, I ain't disputing that it has happened, and I'm talking about specifically within the confines of this country. I ain't disputing that it has happened. What I'm saying is that, generally speaking, the majority of us ain't doing that shit and never have.
Now.
No.
That's my point.
Ever.
My point is now. No, I'm not going to say ever.
When was the majority of black folks in this country all on board with putting their life on the line? When?
Well, neither of us can answer that question because neither of us have been alive for the existence of this country. So I'm saying I'm not going to say never because I wasn't around then.
All right,
and you can't say never either.
All right. This is a good question too. Totally switching topics, and we only got about 10 minutes left anyway. So matter of fact, who is the GOAT comedian? And King Hebrew said Paul Mooney. Paul.
See, look, me and King Hebrew can have a meal together. We can chop it up because I was gonna say Chris Rock, and the reason why is because Chris Rock mirrors Paul Mooney so much. If Paul Mooney didn't have such girly mannerisms, I think I would be probably a little bit more fond of him. But
I think Chris Rock is funnier than Paul Mooney.
I think Chris Rock is funnier than Paul Mooney, but I think that's because of the times that I live in and the age that I am. You know what I'm saying? That I think 20 years ago I would have found, if Paul Mooney and Chris Rock were the same age, I probably would have found Paul Mooney funnier because I think with the things that his comedy was more relatable 20 years ago, and Chris Rock is more relatable now. I think that just has to do with time. But political and racial comedians, hands down, my favorite. Hands down.
I mean, I don't even know if I would put, let me see. Dave Chappelle is funnier than Paul Mooney to me. And when I say funnier, I mean skit-wise or stand-up-wise. I don't mean like Paul Mooney is apparently written for everybody in the business damn near. Like that's different to me. Writing some shit and delivering it is two totally different things. So I'm not really equating your ability to write some funny shit into the conversation. But I definitely would say Chris Rock. I definitely would say Dave Chappelle. No, but that would probably be only because I'm thinking, like Kevin Hart has moments of funny. Like when he early on he was hilarious. Oh man, Kevin Hart early on he was hilarious, but he just basically like doing the same.
When he was black, he was funny.
He's still black. He still looks the same to me.
No, he's not.
Oh my Lord! All right, but anyway, I can't put him in that top echelon because he just basically been saying the same shit over and over and over. Same thing kind of with Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin got some really dope political shit too. But he ain't been consistently funny for me. Like he'll have one hilarious special and then two trash ones.
What about Cat Williams? How do you rate him?
That one was hilarious. Was that his first one?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't exactly give you no details on it, but I think it was his first special. Had me rolling, and I mean, like I could go back and watch that and be in tears. The second one I saw, he was funny, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't, like it was ha 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 ha, as opposed to so it was just a totally different level of funny. So he ain't consistent enough for me.
Yeah, I get you.
And nowadays, like the stand-up itself has kind of lost its luster. It's like people they don't necessarily have to do stand-up anymore to make it. Now you can do your own web series, and you can literally write out what you saying. You can do the whole show, and they'll pick up the whole show, as opposed to try to get on TV from being a stand-up comedian, and they have to create something. You're already coming in with a built-in fan base, or
that's like that guy. I don't know if you know the guy HaHa Davis on Instagram that does these skits where he's like, in prison or is with his daddy or whatever, and his skits are stupid hilarious on Instagram. But he started getting a few shows. He started being a guest in a couple of shows, and I don't know how well that's gonna translate because his stand-up is trash. He's great at skits, so maybe that will go good for It's like Jamie Foxx, right? Like Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor and comedian in action, but stand up is trash.
Oh, you know who
like
was the absolute worst?
Same thing with Marlon Wayans.
Rest in peace too. Charlie Murphy was the worst stand up I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. But he was funny as hell in movies.
He was hilarious. But man, that is, and that's not even close. Like his intro, which had to be like 4 hours long, and I'm exaggerating slightly, but his intro was the best part of the whole special. Once he started, and I'm doing air quotes now, once he started telling jokes, man, it was horrible. What you saying hell no to, King Hebrew? Did you see that special? You got 5 minutes, bro. You might want to hurry up. Press 1 when you call up. It's 347-855-8692. And I just want to say shout out to everybody that tuned in. If you tuned in today, you tune in tomorrow, you tune in to 100 years. I hope you had a dope day. Shout out to the whole team. Again, shout out to the family, Liberation Minded Media, Do the Knowledge Radio, Black Eye Stand Radio. And what's your girl name with the core music?
Oh, Shanika Yates.
And you know what? I'm
Shanika
trying to.
Yates, yeah, you check out. You guys be on the lookout for that. The Conscious Revolution, I believe core stands for. I'm sorry if I got that incorrect. The Conscious Revival of Music. I can't remember what the RE is for, but it is a Black conscious music driven event, definitely pro-Black. It's happening in Detroit in October. It's going to be family and kid friendly, and keep a lookout for that. And the Tornado Awards are happening tomorrow, right? No, Saturday.
I'm not sure. You're probably right, but it is October the 20th and the 21st. It's the Core Music Fest. It will be in Detroit on Grand River Avenue at the African Bead Museum. So make sure y'all check that out. And actually, she's going to be on the show next week to talk about that too. And she will be on Black Eye Stand Radio this Saturday again. I believe that is 2 o'clock Pacific time. So make sure y'all support that. Basically,